It was pretty clear that Marilyn was going to be an exceptional donation attendant. From the day that we met, we were at an actual donation center, and we were talking, and customers started to come into the door to make donations, and Marilyn, she looked right at me and said, "Excuse me for a second," and went over and started to help one of the donors, and I hadn't even hired her yet, so it was, I pretty much hired her on the spot at that point. It was pretty remarkable.
When I first saw domestic violence in my own personal life, I thought, this was something that didn't happen in a faith community, but as I went on through these 31 years, I learned that it's also prevalent in a faith community. That's why I believe the Lord has commissioned me to, be on this great journey to engage faith communities.
It makes me happy and excited to be part of Goodwill. I have made a lot of friends and I get to work with some fun and great people. I enjoy being part of it all.
We love him. Scott always brightens up everybody's day. Scott always only has certain controls over his body. Mostly he's able to control, obviously, his head, and somewhat your arms and your legs and your body, but it's a limited ability. And then also Scott's nonverbal, so he uses communication device.
The doctors just told my parents that I had some major learning disabilities and that they could just put me in an institution and forget they had me. And of course my mother was very instrumental about not doing that, and so she worked with me very strongly every day with my homework, and my older brothers and sisters would help me as well, and they were all very instrumental in wanting to push me to learn as best I could. I'm just very grateful for what my parents did teach us. It taught me the ethics of giving and being of service to other people.
And we didn't have an alarm system. What I did is I took these metal chairs and put them by the door, so when he came in, I could hear them fall and be warned because I didn't want to wake up Dad. He hung up the phone and said that he was going to get a gun, so that made me very scared because I figured that if he got a gun, my children would be in danger.
So there was really nobody you could go to because you did not want to go to your family to tell them, and you did not want to talk about it with your the people in your church. So you essentially were alone, just enduring this. Is that correct?
That's correct. My mother found out, and she called the church and talked to a few people, and they got him out of the house. And I got home and he wasn't there. So I sat in my living room and thanked God for peace. Then I got up, called the locksmith, and had them change the locks.
Scotty's very patient. I think patience is a huge thing you have going on. Just with the communication device, it takes a while. And if sometimes your adaptations, like your chair, your communication device, are not working for you, you have to be kind of patient to find somebody or have somebody kind of work with you.
My mother was my champion. She took care of me. I miss her very much, especially when she fed me yogurt.
They said that they had worked with people with disabilities, and they told my mom at the time that, with my dad being dead, if I wanted to just go, they wanted to go ahead and send me to regular public school, it would be okay. And I threw a fit. So why do I have to be different? If my other brothers and sisters can graduate from there, why can't I? And Mom says, well, you can, but it's going to be tough. I said, Mom, I don't care. And I did. I worked as a candy striper at the hospital feeding patients, and we worked together to pay my tuition, and I went there, and I'm very proud of that. A lot of people didn't think I had the capabilities to go to college, but it didn't matter. That's what I wanted. I wanted to go to college and be able to be successful.
Basically, the child support was very sporadic. You would have to go back to court. I tried to just do whatever I can to support my children, and I received assistance from my church, my family, and different social services. Even though I had all these challenges, the Lord always blessed me to enjoy my children.
I got married to my second husband, and I had 2 children by him, and it was very abusive, and things were not good, and I felt the need to leave. And then I took the 2 middle kids to the shelter, and then I needed medicine for my daughter Christy, who has epileptic seizures. And while I was at the shelter, I couldn't afford to get her medicine. So I took it upon myself to go to Children's Services and try to ask for help. So then they talked me into releasing custody to them so that I could get help getting their medicine, and I was able to choose the foster home they placed them in and all that.
Scott has a thirst for adventure. Last year, he decided that he was going to do actually a quarter marathon, so it was 6.5 miles.
Brian and Amy and another staff person showed me a YouTube video of a dad and son team. Team Hoyt. The dad pushed his son in a running stroller at a race. I thought I could do that too. It became an instant goal of mine.
We had no idea how we were going to get Scott through this race, but I think Scott had the goal of getting across that finish line somehow. And so I think we decided we're going to get him over the finish line, come hell or high water.
I had never done anything like this before. I enjoyed running fast, feeling the wind rushing by me, and the thrill of doing something crazy and new.
For 2 months, I had to live in my car. I stayed in my car, and I would go to different places and spend the night on the couch at different friends and stuff. But I didn't tell a lot of people that I was actually homeless. I was embarrassed. And then, of course, when a lot of my family found out, they were a little upset with me because they said, well, why didn't you come and ask for help? Well, because I was too embarrassed. I was in that situation. Well, I love my new job. I work with 2 adult women. If they need a meal fixed, I fix their meals. We go out on outings a lot. They bring a sense of joy to me. I just have a great time with them.
It's a really good fit for her, but I think it's what you really want to do.
It is.
What you've done a lot of in your life and what you really enjoy. She's an amazing human being, and she's been really inspiring to me, so thank you.
Thank you.
So after the race in 2015, a lot of different people were asking how they could be involved or how they could help. And so this kind of created this huge buzz. And the neat thing about it is that it led people to kind of chase their own goals, and Scott was that inspiration.
Goodwill gives me the opportunity to do new things, meet new people, and the chance to work. I also hope to get married one day and to work at one of the retail stores.
When I came to Goodwill, it was very different. I felt like they really cared, they were very engaging, and they understand how to, help people. My calling for my life at this point is to actually reach leadership in the faith-based community, to get them aware that they have a responsibility to and an opportunity to help this movement to end domestic violence by changing their culture and becoming educated.
The more Darlene does this work and puts her story out there, the more likely it is that when people do find themselves in these kinds of situations, they can go to the place where they feel most comfortable and most at home.
Back then, I felt that what was happening to me was my fault. And so I was on this journey to do whatever I can to make it go away. I was scared to go to a sad place because I felt that I would never recover. I knew that I can get through this because I had to do it for my children.
It makes me happy and excited to be part of Goodwill. I have made a lot of friends, and I get to work with some fun and great people.
I'm very proud of myself and where I'm at. I'm not ashamed of my disability. I want to move beyond my disability, and I want to teach them that there's more to life than even focusing on your disability. You just have to be strong and get past it.